Hello, boys and girls. This is Tim Ferriss, and welcome to another episode of The Tim Ferriss Show. If you hear some squeaking in the background, that's my puppy, who is pleasure whining, chewing on a plush corn on the cob, it looks like. She's not going to perform for us, but that's okay, because we have someone better. We have Jamie Foxx, the one and only, the multi-talented polymath of entertainment, and you can hear the whining. That's how I feel on the inside, because I'm so excited about this episode. And this is a teaser. This particular episode is 5 minutes. You're going to get to hear a story about how he met P. Diddy, and part of how he put together a $400 party to rival a $1 million party that Puff Daddy put together. You have some beef with Cosby, impersonations, and some childhood stories of playing music at a Christmas party to overcome racial tension, among other things. We go everywhere with this. I don't want to spoil any surprises. There's a lot more coming in just a few days. 2.5 hours with Jamie Foxx covering everything, many stories no one has ever heard, and it was a blast. So here's a taste, a little morsel to whet your appetite for things to come. And please, if you enjoy this podcast, do me a favor, if you wouldn't mind, go to itunes.com/Tim Ferriss, 2 R's, 2 S's. So itunes.com/Tim Ferriss, and subscribe to the podcast if you haven't. It really helps a lot with all sorts of things that we're trying to do over here and marshaling resources. So it really, really helps a lot if you subscribe. And also, even if you listen to it on another platform or another app, just subscribe, please. And then second is, if you haven't left a review, I would love an honest review. Just anything short is super helpful, and I do read these things. I do go through and read them. It's very meaningful to me, so I appreciate it. And that is it. So please enjoy this short teaser, and in a few days, you will get the 2.5-hour wham bam, thank you, Van Damme version of the full interview. So, as always, thank you for listening.
I would follow Puffy Combs around back in the day when it was just like Puff and J-Lo. And back at that time, no one could get into his parties, but the reason he would let me in, because I would carry a camera with me everywhere I go. And so I couldn't get into all the parties because Puff was so big. Like, he come to L.A., we couldn't even get in our own clubs.
Right.
And so he saw me with the camera. He's like, yo, let him through. And it was back in the day, it was like the big Canon camera with the light, and I had to change the battery. It wasn't like how today you just got your phone in your pocket. Your phone in your pocket. No, I had production. But I would follow him around, and then one day we had this party in Philly that I recorded for him, and he said, yo, money, you know how much this party costs? I said, what? He said, it costs $1 million for this party. I said, you paid $1 million for a party? He was like, yeah, that's how I told Puff, I challenged him, I said, I'll throw you a party at my house in L.A., which is way smaller than this situation, but I'll spend maybe $400, and it will rival this party, not in the scale of it, but in the type of people that are there. And he actually came to L.A. a few weeks later, and it was a Saturday. He said, yo, Playboy, make that shit happen. So he calls me like 9 in the morning, right? I said, no problem. So I go into my cell phones. I text and said, I'm throwing a party for Puff. I said, listen, I'm Puff is coming, and the people that I text were only cool people. Like, no guys that'll be hating. I hit him at 12 noon. I said, yo, where you at? We're at a fevered pitch. It's going off over here in my little house. And when he gets there, his mind is blown. And he walked in, he says, oh, that's the girl from that show. And that's the girl on this. And I said, yeah, Puff, we all live out here. So all the people you see in Hollywood, I know they're my friend. And so he's like, oh, shit. So the party's incredible. We're playing his music through my little sound speakers. Everybody's really toasting him. And everybody's in tune with him. And I explained to him, I said, Puff, let me explain to you. Look at the table. I only spent $400 on the table. There's Kentucky Fried Chicken. I just put it in a nice bowl. There's cola. I just put them in pitchers. So we partying. Puff is partying. And there's a dude standing next, like on the wall. No one's talking to. He got a little green jump jacket on. Guess who it was? It was Jay-Z. Nobody knew who he was. Jay-Z kid. I said, yeah, I know that dude. Now Cosby is back in. To do the Cosby impersonation is back in. There's definitely a Cosby joke somewhere. I don't know where it, but I used to do Cosby. Because of the people and the Jell-O pudding and the filth and the flying and the foreign, which Eddie Murphy did. But people didn't know, like, Cosby's real speaking voice is not like that.
What's the speaking voice like?
His speaking voice was different, because I remember I got in trouble with Mr. Cosby because he felt that the movie Booty Call was not cool. And he said some things in the press about us, and I was like a young comedian, like, damn, man, I'm just trying to work, you know? But his speaking voice when he was on the phone, well, see, the thing is that when you do something like booty call, what is a booty call? See, why are you calling the booty? You know, whatever. But it was so, it wasn't because, and then you find out that was your stick.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because the kid and the child and the people and the farm, but, you know. So I know that will come up. I'll find a joke for Cosby that, of course, is going to be a little, people are going to be like, but it's going to be funny as shit. So we go into this room, which looks like a bedroom, and I'm looking like, why the fuck does he have clothes hanging up in his bedroom? But it was a walk-in closet. I never seen no shit like that. I was like, oh, man, we can make a split-level condo out of this shit. So he gives me a Brooks Brothers jacket that had the patches on the elbows. I'm like, oh, shit, highfalutin. So now I'm really playing. You know, I'm getting. But as I'm playing, they were doing, the grown-ups there were doing racially misunderstanding jokes. I'll say it like that. And my grandmother taught me something at that time. She said, when you're in a setting like that, there's a word I want you to remember. It's called furniture. I said, what's that? She said, you're part of the furniture. So you don't comment on what's being said. You play. That's what you're there for. And you let these people enjoy their... And the lady of the house felt bad. She said, I just want to apologize to you for what they're saying. I said, no problem. She said, can you sing something for us? And I was like, sure. I could sing something for us. And this was the song that I sung. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody. Anyway. But here's it. Reagan came later, but Reagan came like in the 80s when I was actually like 21. And I was the first black guy doing the Reagan impersonation, probably the only one. So I would be on stage doing my impersonations and going to Ronald Reagan. People are like, no, it ain't no way. Well, as a matter of fact, oh, no, there you go again.